Hello everyone, today we are going to get down and dirty with some tape. Alright, so today we are going to test the effects that tape formulation, tape speed, and tape saturation can have on your mixdowns. And we will be featuring the Tascam 22-2 today, where I go through a number of tests and we make some comparisons. Now, usually in the introductions of my videos, I babble on endlessly and you guys fast forward through them to cut through all the bullshit, but today, I think a lot of the information I would normally cover was already covered in my home recording mastering video, so I will refer you to that video if you haven't seen it already. I think it has some great information regarding tape mixdowns, so, you know, if you need some background, go watch that one. And I need to make something very clear before we go on in this video. The tests that I will be running today for these comparisons are by no means peer-reviewed, quality controlled, or anything like that. I am making this video strictly from a garage rocker's point of view, which is how I think a majority of the people watching this will interpret it anyway. Now, you may think that this disclaimer is not necessary, but I assure you, with tape heads, it is. The last time I did a mixdown comparison video, specifically on VCRs, I got tore apart in the home recording forums because my experiment practices were not up to tape head standards, okay? So I'm putting that out there right now. If you are a tape head who is really pedantic about stuff and how they use their tape machines and they treat them like they're sending, you know, Apollo astronauts to the moon, you know, this video is not going to be for you. For everyone else, I hope you can gather something from this video and just stick along with me while we go through the comparisons, and hopefully we'll all learn something along the way. Okay, so once again, disclaimer, putting it out there, let's move on. The song that we'll be doing our mixdown today is called Hang 10. It is off my album Distorted Proportions. I picked this song for a few reasons. One, because it's a rather simple arrangement. There's no vocals, a really simple song. So I think it'll be easy for our ears to make some comparisons. Two, it is a short song, and I have to do like 20,000 mixdowns for these tests, so it'll make that go by much quicker. And three, it's kind of an easy listening song. So we're going to be listening to this on repeat a lot, and I don't want it to be too much for your ears. So this song is, you know, that's why I chose this song. The three tape formulations that we will be looking at today, I am going to generalize and break these up into three categories. We're going to do a cheap, kind of low fidelity tape formulation, then we're going to do a mid-tier, and then a top-tier formulation. And I am really generalizing there. There's going to be more nuances to the tapes, more differences and nuances to the tapes, but I'm really just keeping it simple to keep this video a short running time. We don't need to get into all the nitty-gritty details. So for the low cost, low fidelity tape, we will be using Scotch 177 tape. It's not 111 as it says on this box, it is 177, and this is not a back-coated tape. It is a general purpose tape, not really meant for home recording, or music recording, I should say. It is meant for home recording, but not for music. It's a consumer grade, kind of just meant for a low-grade tape machine. For the mid-tier, we are going to be using Maxwell UD-XL, and once again, kind of generalizing, this is not a mid-tier tape. This is actually a really good tape. It's very high quality. It is meant for music recording. It is meant for mastering, so this is really good tape. I'm really just counting it mid-tier because it is a used tape, and that's really the only reason. For the top tier, I'm using brand spanking new Recording the Masters SM911 tape, and this is really, really high quality tape. This is what I personally use most of the time for my own mixdowns, and for my multi-track recording deck, I also use the same formulation. I really can't say anything bad about this tape. It's really fantastic. It's the sound production on it, the sound reproduction rather, is really great on it. The usability, the lack of needing to clean all the time, I can't say enough things about it. So that is why I'm considering this the top tier tape. Now, for my tests, I'm going to further break up these 3 different tape formulations into 2 different speeds. The first speed is going to be 15 inches per second, which is the standard running speed for this machine. And then I'm also going to be doing another test at 7.5 inches per second, which is the low speed on this machine. And then from there, I'm going to further break it up and do a normal recording level test for each tape formulation and speed, and then I'm going to do a elevated recording level where I'm really pushing the levels and really trying to play into the tape saturation test. And I'm once again going to be doing this for each tape formulation and speed. So that should give us a total of 12 different tests to compare. And I'm going to be doing mixdowns for each of these tests straight from my multi-track machine here. And as a benchmark, as something to compare all of these to, I'm going to be doing a mixdown straight from this machine right into my computer. I'm going to be plugging the output of this machine straight into a Scarlett Focusrite into my computer, into Audacity, and that is going to be the benchmark. In reality, to properly do the tests with 3 different tape formulas, I should be recalibrating my tape machine for each of them, but I'm not going to be doing that for a few reasons. The reason I am not going to be recalibrating this machine for these tape formulas is that this machine is, kind of a low budget machine. It does not have a lot of features, and there's really not a lot to calibrate on it. Really, the only important adjustment to calibrate is the bias level on this machine, which, once again, as I said, I should be doing because these 3 tape formulas have 3 different bias levels. So I should be rebiasing. However, the bias control on the machine is 1, super hard to get to, and 2, in my past experience, actually does nothing on this machine. I have done a lot of tests when I first got this machine playing with the bias adjustment, and it actually made no effect on the left channel. On the right channel, it made a little bit of an effect, but on the left channel, literally no difference. And for that reason, we're not even going to touch it because I really don't think it's going to make a difference on this specific machine. The other reason is because during my normal operating conditions in this recording studio, I am switching from tape formula to tape formula without any regards of anything, and I never recalibrate this machine, and the results I get are always up to my standards, and I've never had a problem with it. So once again, that is why we will not be recalibrating this machine. I know this is going to make the tape heads really mad at me, but just reverse back 30 seconds and I'll explain all again why I'm not going to be doing it, okay? If you have a problem with it, just go make your own YouTube video and stop bothering me, okay? Alright, so let's move on. So for the first round of comparisons, I am going to play the whole of the song from start to finish, and I'm going to be splitting up the song into even sections for each different test. I'm doing this because I want you to hear the song in full, 1, for promotional reasons, and 2, just so you get an idea of what the song is like, just so you could have some, base point for when we go into further tests. Once this is done, I am going to take one section of the song, and I'm once again going to go through all 12 samples of the mixdown, each with the different settings, and we're going to compare the differences in sound just in one section, looping over and over. Do keep in mind that for all of the tests today, we are not going to be putting on my typical mastering stage of my mixdowns that I usually do. For a mastering stage, I usually add some EQ, and then I send it to a compressor to limit the audio signal. But I'm not going to be doing that today just for the sake of keeping it simple. And we're going to be monitoring straight from the reproduction head on this tape machine. Another thing to keep in mind is when we're going through the tests and you're looking at the video of the tape machine running, the left VU meter is going to be the input level that I am inputting into the machine, and the right VU meter is going to be what is being monitored from the reproduction head. The reason I did it this way is I want you to see the difference between the input level and the output level on the tapes. It's going to be really evident how important this is when I use the low tier Scotch tape. The input level is going to be really high, but the output level is going to be diminished. So just keep an eye out for that as well. All right, so let's take a listen to those first two tests. Okay, now let's loop one section over and over and go through the same 12 different tests. Okay, so now we are going to do some A/B comparisons to further see the differences in the tape formulas, the tape speed, and tape saturation. All right, so for the next test is going to be strictly to look at the differences in tape formulas. Each of these tests are going to be at the standard 15 inches per second at a normal recording level. Alright, now we are going to loop another section, and this time we are going to look at the differences in tape speed. And for this last test, we are going to loop another section, this time trying to compare the differences in tape saturation, where the A test is going to be a normal recording levels, and the B test is going to be the elevated recording levels, where I'm really pushing the tape hard to get some tape saturation. Now, something I should make clear for this tape saturation test is, one, on my multi-track recorder, when I initially tracked this stuff, I'm already pushing the levels pretty hard, so there's already going to be tape saturation there. When it's going through my mixer, I'm also pushing the levels pretty hard again, so there's another level of saturation. And then I'm bringing the mix down to the tape machine, where I'm adding a third level of saturation. And then the fourth level of saturation is going to be when the monitoring signal is going back into my mixer. So there's a lot of level of tape saturation here. So, you know, just keep that in mind when we're going through the A/B test, because, you know, there's analog saturation all throughout this song. Alright guys, those are the tests. Let me know what you think. Were you surprised to hear what you heard? I was a little surprised. Going into this, I expected there to be little differences between all of the tests. I didn't expect how little of differences there were in the tests. I mean, if you were to blind test someone, I doubt they could tell the difference between most of them. Besides, you know, the really obvious ones, like if you compared the top tier tape at 15 inches per second to the low tier tape at 7.5 inches per second, you're obviously going to hear a difference. You know what? Actually, I want to try something. I'm going to play two different mixdown samples. One, the SM911 high tier tape at 15 inches per second, and I'm also going to play the low end tier, the Scotch 177 at 7.5 inches per second. I want to see if you guys in the comments can tell the difference. I'm not going to put which one is which on the screen. I'm just going to call one A and one B, and you guys tell me which one is which. We'll see how obvious it is. The differences between the two tape formulas here were very minimal, and honestly, same thing with the tape speed. You would expect to hear more of a difference, but really it's making me question my mixdown medium going forward. I don't know if I'm gonna be purchasing the SM911 any longer. I might start buying more of used tape. I really like this Maxwell stuff. It runs really great, and it sounds really great, and it is a quarter of the price, so it makes way more sense to be using something like this, right? Another thing is the tape speed. Once again, I expected to hear way more of a difference, and at 7.5 inches per second, you're obviously using half the amount of tape that you would be using normally. So moving forward, I think I might be moving to 7.5 inches per second. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to stick to that, but we'll see where I go from there. And before I end this video, I want to show a quick comparison between a mix down without my mastering stage and then with my mastering stage, because it makes a huge difference in my studio. So we are going to listen to the test at 7.5 inches per second on my SM911 tape, which is how I originally made this mix down for my album for this song. And we're going to listen to it without any of the mastering stage, and then we are going to listen to it with my mastering stage, where I send it through my parametric EQ and then into a limiter. And the limiter is really less important here. The more important part is the EQ, and it's going to be really obvious the differences when I do the A/B comparison. The EQ is adding a lot to the mix, and it is a really important step when you're doing mix downs to a tape machine, because your frequency response, especially on a low-end machine like this, is going to be all over the place. And by sending it through a parametric EQ, you're really going to get your final mix where you want it to be. All right, so let's take a listen to that. Right? I wasn't kidding. It's a huge difference. So once again, if you haven't watched my mastering video, I really recommend that video. There's a lot of good information there, and I go through a lot of the stuff that I probably should have been talking about in this video today. So, I don't know. Please let me know what you guys think. If you think I'm a piece of shit, please just let me know. I will see you guys all next time. Get off YouTube, go into the recording studio, start f***ing flailing tape everywhere, and start recording music. All right? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.